What if I told you that the most important question isn't what do you want to achieve, but what do you want to be remembered for? Today, in our final episode of Be Stoic Everyday, I'm revealing how to build a legacy that outlasts your lifetime, not through monuments or wealth, but through the character you develop and the lives you touch. This is about becoming the kind of person whose influence ripples through generations. Before I show you how to create a legacy that truly matters, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Why? Because what I'm about to share is the culmination of everything we've learned together. How to take Stoic wisdom and turn it into lasting impact. This is episode 10 of Be Stoic Everyday. And if you want your life to matter long after you're gone, you can't miss this. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Daily Stoic Insights. I'm your host, and today we're completing our journey together with the most important topic of all, legacy. Over the past 9 episodes, we've explored morning rituals, emotional resilience, negative visualization, letting go, the discipline of desire, memento mori, voluntary hardship, philosophical journaling, and virtue-based friendship. But why does any of this matter? What's the point of becoming more stoic? The answer is legacy. Not the kind of legacy that gets your name on buildings, but the kind that lives in the hearts and minds of people whose lives you've touched. The kind that ripples through generations as the people you've influenced go on to influence others. Marcus Aurelius never intended for his personal journal to be published, yet Meditations has guided millions of people for nearly 2,000 years. Epictetus was a slave who owned nothing, yet his teachings on freedom have liberated countless minds. Seneca's letters to one friend have become wisdom for the world. None of them were trying to build a legacy in the traditional sense. They were simply trying to live well, to embody virtue, and to help others do the same. Their legacy emerged naturally from their character. Today, I'm going to show you how to build that same kind of lasting impact. Here's what I'm going to give you today. First, the 3 types of legacy and why only one truly matters. Second, specific practices for building character-based influence that lasts. And third, a comprehensive life review process that ensures you're living in alignment with the legacy you want to leave. Plus, I've got a final challenge that will transform how you think about success and significance. Let's start by understanding what the Stoics meant by legacy. They recognized 3 types. Type 1. Material legacy. This includes wealth, property, achievements, and external accomplishments. While these can be valuable, they're temporary and often forgotten within a generation or 2. Type 2. Reputation legacy. This includes fame, recognition, and how people remember your external actions. This lasts longer than material legacy, but is still dependent on others' memories and cultural changes. Type 3. Character legacy. This includes the virtue you embody, the wisdom you share, and the positive influence you have on others' character. This is the only legacy that truly lasts because it lives on in the people you've touched, who then touch others. The Stoics focused exclusively on Type 3 legacy because they understood that character is the only thing that's truly yours and the only thing that creates lasting positive impact. The 4 pillars of Stoic legacy. Pillar 1. Virtue. As your foundation, your legacy isn't built on what you accomplish, but on who you become. Every choice to act with wisdom, justice, courage, or temperance adds to your character legacy. Every moment you choose virtue over convenience, you're building something that will outlast your lifetime. Pillar 2. Influence through example. The most powerful way to influence others isn't through words, but through consistent example. When people see you handling difficulties with grace, treating others with respect, and living according to your principles, they're inspired to do the same. Pillar 3. Teaching and mentoring. Sharing wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about sharing what you've learned from your struggles and growth. Every person you help become wiser, stronger, or more virtuous carries your influence forward. Pillar 4. Service to something greater. True legacy comes from contributing to something beyond yourself, your family, your community, your profession, humanity itself. When you serve something greater than your own interests, your impact multiplies. Practice number 1. The legacy reflection. Every month, Spend 30 minutes reflecting on these questions. Character assessment. What virtues did I practice this month? Where did I choose convenience over character? Influence evaluation. How did my example affect others? What did people learn from watching how I handled challenges? Teaching opportunities. What wisdom did I share? How did I help others grow? Service impact. How did I contribute to something greater than myself? This monthly practice keeps you focused on building the kind of legacy that truly matters. Practice number 2, the deathbed visualization. This is an advanced form of memento mori specifically focused on legacy. Once a week, imagine yourself at the end of your life looking back on how you lived. Ask yourself, what would I want people to say about my character? How would I want to be remembered by my family, friends, and colleagues? What impact would I want my life to have had on others? What wisdom would I want to have shared? What example would I want to have set? Then ask the crucial question, how can I live this week in alignment with that vision? Practice number 3, the ripple effect meditation. Spend 10 minutes visualizing how your positive influence could ripple through generations. Imagine someone you've influenced becoming a better parent because of your example. Picture that person's children growing up with stronger character. Visualize those children influencing their friends, colleagues, and eventually their own children. See how one moment of virtue from you could positively impact hundreds of people you'll never meet. This meditation helps you understand that every choice matters, every interaction has potential impact, and every moment is an opportunity to contribute to a better world. Real-world application. The daily legacy question. Every evening, ask yourself, if someone had been watching me all day, what would they have learned about how to live? This simple question transforms ordinary moments into legacy-building opportunities. It makes you conscious of the example you're setting and the influence you're having. The compound effect of character. Just like compound interest in finance, character compounds over time. Each virtuous choice makes the next one easier. Each moment of integrity builds your reputation for trustworthiness. Each act of kindness increases your capacity for compassion. But here's what's beautiful. Character compounds not just in your own life, but in the lives of everyone you influence. When you inspire someone to be more patient, they become more patient with others. When you model courage, you give others permission to be brave. Advanced technique, the virtue mentorship. Identify one person in your life who could benefit from your experience and wisdom. This doesn't have to be formal mentoring. It could be a colleague, a family member, or a friend. Commit to helping them develop one specific virtue over the next 6 months. For example, help someone develop patience by sharing what you've learned about emotional regulation. Help someone build courage by encouraging them to take meaningful risks. Help someone practice justice by modeling fair treatment of others. Help someone grow in wisdom by sharing books, ideas, and philosophical discussions. The goal isn't to change them completely, but to plant seeds of virtue that will grow throughout their life and influence others. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I'm not important enough to have a lasting legacy, or I don't have a platform to influence many people. I'm about to destroy those limiting beliefs and show you that every person has the potential for profound legacy impact. Plus, I'm going to share the most powerful legacy practice that anyone can implement, regardless of their circumstances. Let's address the biggest misconceptions about legacy. Misconception 1. You need to be famous to have a legacy. Reality. The most powerful legacies are often invisible to the public. A teacher who inspires one student to become a great leader. A parent who models integrity for their children. A friend who helps someone through a difficult time. These small influences often have greater impact than public achievements. Misconception 2. You need to accomplish great things to matter. Reality. Legacy is built through daily choices, not grand gestures. How you treat the cashier at the grocery store, how you respond to criticism, how you handle disappointment. These ordinary moments shape your character and influence others. Misconception 3. You need to wait until you're older or wiser. Reality. You're already influencing people every day. Your current character is already creating ripple effects. The question isn't whether you're ready to build a legacy. It's whether you're conscious of the legacy you're already building. The most powerful legacy practice, the character commitment. Choose one virtue to focus on for the next year. Not multiple virtues, just one. Make a commitment to embody this virtue in every situation, with every person, in every moment possible. For example, patience. Commit to responding calmly to frustration, giving others time to speak, and not rushing through interactions. Kindness. Commit to looking for ways to help others, speaking gently, and assuming positive intent. Courage. Commit to speaking up for what's right, taking meaningful risks, and facing fears directly. Integrity. Commit to keeping your word, being honest even when it's difficult, and aligning your actions with your values. Here's why this works. When you consistently embody one virtue, people notice. They start to associate you with that quality. They begin to trust you in that area. And most importantly, they start to develop that virtue themselves through your example. The legacy multiplication effect. One person consistently practicing one virtue can influence dozens of people. Those people influence others. Within a few years, your commitment to patience, kindness, courage, or integrity could have touched hundreds of lives. Real success stories. Let me tell you about Maria, a subscriber who chose to focus on patience for 1 year. She was naturally quick-tempered and often snapped at her family and colleagues. But she committed to pausing before reacting, taking deep breaths, and responding calmly. 6 months later, her teenage daughter said, "Mom, you become so much calmer. It makes me want to be less reactive too." Her colleague mentioned that her patience during difficult meetings had inspired him to be less defensive. Her husband started modeling her calm responses during stressful situations. One person's commitment to one virtue created a ripple effect that touched dozens of people and will likely influence future generations through her children. The professional legacy. Your character legacy isn't separate from your professional life. It's expressed through it. Whether you're a teacher, a business owner, a healthcare worker, or anything else, you have opportunities every day to model virtue and influence others. The most respected professionals aren't necessarily the most skilled. They're the most trustworthy, the most reliable, the most ethical. They're the ones who do the right thing even when no one is watching, who treat everyone with respect regardless of status, who maintain their principles under pressure. Before I give you the final challenge that will transform how you think about success, let me share the most profound realization about legacy that most people never discover. It's something that will change how you see every interaction, every choice, and every moment of your life. Plus, I'm going to give you a simple daily practice that ensures you're building the legacy you actually want. Here's the most profound realization about legacy. You're not building a legacy for the future. You're building it right now, in this moment, with every choice you make. Legacy isn't something that happens after you die. It's something that's happening while you live. Every person you interact with today is being influenced by your character. Every choice you make is either adding to or subtracting from the positive impact you'll have on the world. This means that the question isn't what legacy do I want to leave, but what legacy am I creating right now? The present moment legacy practice. Before any significant interaction, a meeting, a conversation with family, a response to conflict, a decision under pressure, ask yourself, how can I use this moment to embody virtue and positively influence others? This simple question transforms every interaction into a legacy-building opportunity. It makes you conscious of the example you're setting and the influence you're having. The invisible legacy. Most of your legacy will be invisible to you. You'll never know how many people were influenced by your example of patience during a difficult situation. You'll never see how your integrity in a small matter inspired someone to be more honest in a big matter. You'll never witness how your kindness to a stranger changed their entire day and how they passed that kindness on to others. This is why the Stoics focused on character rather than recognition. They understood that the most important influence happens in moments when no one is watching, in ways you'll never see, with people you may never know were affected. The daily legacy practice. Every morning, set one character intention. Today, I will embody virtue in all my interactions. Every evening, reflect. How did I embody virtue today? What example did I set? How might my character have influenced others? This daily practice keeps you focused on building the kind of legacy that truly matters, not the legacy of achievement, but the legacy of character. Here's what happens when you master the art of Stoic legacy. You stop worrying about being remembered and start focusing on being worthy of remembrance. You stop trying to impress others and start trying to improve them. You stop measuring success by what you get and start measuring it by what you give. But most importantly, you discover that building a character-based legacy is the most fulfilling way to live. When your daily choices are guided by virtue, when your interactions are opportunities to influence others positively, when your life is dedicated to something greater than yourself, you experience a deep sense of meaning and purpose that no external achievement can provide. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." When you live for something greater than yourself, you don't lose your individuality. You find your true purpose. The beautiful paradox of legacy is this: when you stop trying to build a legacy and start trying to build character, you create the most lasting legacy of all. Here's your final challenge, the culmination of everything we've learned together. The year of character legacy. Choose one virtue to embody for the next 365 days. Every day, in every interaction, with every choice, commit to practicing this virtue. Not perfectly, none of us are perfect, but consistently. Your daily commitment. Morning intention. Today, I will embody virtue in all my interactions. Moment-by-moment awareness. How can I express virtue in this situation? Evening reflection. How did I practice virtue today? What example did I set? Your monthly review. How has focusing on this virtue changed me? How has it affected my relationships? What have others learned from my example? How has my influence rippled outward? Your year-end assessment. How has this year of character focus transformed my life? What legacy am I building through my daily choices? How will I continue this practice going forward? What virtue will I focus on next year? If you're ready to build a legacy that truly matters, smash that like button. You're not just supporting the channel, you're committing to character-based influence. You're saying, I choose to be remembered not for what I achieved, but for who I became and how I influenced others. Comment below with "I commit to a year of character legacy," and tell me which virtue you're going to focus on. When you make a public commitment, you're more likely to follow through, and this community will support your journey. Share this video with someone who's searching for meaning, someone who wants their life to matter, someone who's ready to focus on character over achievement. Give them the gift of purpose. Show them that true success is measured not by what you get, but by what you give. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, because while this is the end of our Be Stoic Everyday series, it's just the beginning of your journey toward wisdom, virtue, and lasting impact. Remember, your legacy isn't what you'll leave behind. It's what you're creating right now. Every choice is an opportunity to embody virtue. Every interaction is a chance to influence others positively. Every moment is a building block in the legacy of character that will outlast your lifetime. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Now go out there and live in a way that makes the world better, one virtuous choice at a time. Until we meet again, stay stoic, stay virtuous, and leave a legacy that matters.